إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما أما بعد فإن خير الحديث كتاب الله عز وجل وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. Brothers and sisters, a few months ago, there was a accident, a car accident, and there were four young brothers, Muslim brothers, who were riding in the car. Three of them did not get injured after the accident, and they were totally fine. One of them was injured and badly injured, and so they called the ambulance to take him to the hospital. And two of the brothers were riding in the ambulance with the brother who was injured. And so the brother who was injured was unconscious as they put him in the ambulance. And so as they were going to the hospital, suddenly the brother came out, became conscious, came out of his unconsciousness, and he raised his finger up in the air and he said, La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. 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 And then he passed. Then he passed. 4 times he said the kalima and then he passed away. Brothers and sisters, as you know, the Prophet ﷺ, he said in a hadith, as in Tirmidhi, that whoever's last words are La ilaha illallah, before they pass away, they will go to Jannah, dakhala al-Jannah. Brothers and sisters, one of the brothers who was with him, his name was Ahmad, he said that, so we went to the hospital, we got the death certificate and everything, and then we went and we did the Islamic rites of washing and shrouding, and then we buried him and so on. This young man who passed away, his name was Abdul Rahman. And Ahmad and Abdul Rahman were cousins. So Ahmad, after the burial and after the 3 days of mourning, he went to Abdul Rahman's mother, who was Ahmad's aunt. And he went there and he asked her that if he can see Abdul Rahman's cell phone, because he wanted to know that what made him change. Because Abdul Rahman Abdul Rahman used to be a person, a young man, 22 years old when he passed away. And he used to be in the dunya, doing all the things with the girlfriends and drugs and music and the whole 9 yards, pornography, everything. So he said that, but suddenly he changed. Ahmed says suddenly he changed, and I wanted to know why he changed. So I asked my aunt if I could see his cell phone, and she said sure. She went to his room and got the cell phone. And he said that I was looking to see in his messages, who is it that helped him to change? And I saw a message from you. And he was talking, Ahmed was relating the story to one of the scholars, one of the sheikhs. And he said that I saw a message from you. So the sheikh said, from me? From me? You saw a message from me? He said, yes, I saw a message from you. So he said, what did the message say? He said, the message said that I congratulate you on your tawbah that you did, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep you strong, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep you firm in this deen until you reach Jannah, until you meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Congratulations, you made me so happy for your tawbah. He said, I don't remember, wallah, I don't remember that I sent him this message. So he said, yeah, you sent him this message. Do you know him? His name was Abdul Rahman. He said, for the life of me, I don't remember who this person was. So he said that, Ahmed said that, can I have some of his pictures, and I'll bring his pictures, I'll show it to you tomorrow, if you can take a look at them. So Ahmed brought the pictures to the sheikh to see, and the sheikh, when he saw the picture, he said, this is Abdul Rahman? This is the one who just passed away? And Ahmed said, yes, he's the one who was in the car accident and he passed away. And I wanted to know why did he do the tawbah? How did he, all of a sudden he changed? So the sheikh said that, I know this young man. And so Ahmed said that what made him change? I just saw this message, and the only way I came to you is because I saw the phone number, and that's how I came to you. So the sheikh said that, this young man, he came to me and he was talking to me about Islam and how he had tasted everything in the world and he wanted to come back to Allah, and he was crying, and so I told him that you have to get rid of everything that makes you sinful. All those things, you have to put them out of your life. And so he went home and he got rid of everything that would make him disobedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then he did his tawbah, but then he called me the next day. The sheikh is relating the story. He called me the next day and he said, Ya sheikh, there's one thing that's getting in the way of me doing the tawbah. I did my tawbah, and I'm going to fully try to be a good Muslim from now on, and I'm going to do everything that Allah has told me to do. But there's one issue in my way. So the sheikh said, okay, come, let's talk. He said, okay, when can I meet with you? He said, okay, tomorrow is Jummu'ah. Tomorrow is Jummu'ah, so come to me after Jummu'ah, we'll have lunch together. So the young man, Abdul Rahman, he came to the sheikh after Jummu'ah. They went and they had lunch, and then they went out walking in the park. And so the sheikh could talk to Abdul Rahman. Abdul Rahman said, I have done tawbah. And the issue is that I work at this one place. And I looked for jobs outside of the city, but I couldn't find anything. And I have to support my family. I graduated from high school. I wanted to go to college, either university, but I couldn't go because I had to support my family. My father passed away, and I'm the eldest, and I have to support my family. So he said, and the job that I found was a delivery job. And the delivery job, you won't believe the different things that I have to face. They They're all challenges on my iman, on my Islam. The Shaykh said, what? Like what things? He said, I have to go and deliver. Sometimes people get upset and they curse at me and I want to respond, but then I have to hold myself because I did tawbah, I have returned to Allah. And sometimes there are women who want to invite me into the home and they say the house is totally empty and come, we'll do things and so on and so forth. And there's so many things that the shaitan is trying to get me to come off the path. And I don't know if I should do this job. I'm worried about my akhirah. I'm worried about my deen. So he said, Shaykh, what do you think I should do? So the Shaykh said, if you feel that this job, and it paid 1700 a month. He said that if you feel that this job is going to get you to compromise on your deen, don't do it. Don't do it. Allah can replace anything for you in this world except your deen. Except your deen. Don't ever compromise on your deen. Leave it and Allah will give you something better. So his cousin Ahmed, he says, Shaykh, exactly what you're saying is the truth. Because you talked to him on Friday, right? The Shaykh said, yes. He said, that Saturday, he went and he gave his resignation. He gave his resignation. And he went and he applied to study Islamic studies in the university. He says, hardly a month after he started studying, he got a job. The Ministry of Education gave him a job to be a mu'adhin in one of the masjids. And it paid 1,700 riyals. 1,700. Exactly what he had lost. Plus, he got 1,000 riyal scholarship on top of that from the university. He says, so he completed 1 year and then he was about to complete the second year when this accident happened. Brothers and sisters, ar-Rasool sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, "Man taraka shay'an lillah, awadahu Allahu khayran minhu." Whoever leaves something for the sake of Allah, Allah will replace it with something much better. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah 65, ayah 2 and 3, وَمَن يَتَّقِ اللَّهَ يَجْعَلْ لَهُ مَخْرَجًا. Whoever is regular and conscientious of their duty to Allah, Allah will make a way out for them from their predicament. وَيَرْزُقْهُ مِنْ حَيْثُ لَا يَحْتَسِبُ. And it will provide for him from places he never imagined. Brothers and sisters, you see, when you leave something for the sake of Allah, Allah replaces it in this world or the akhirah, or in both. Often, Allah may replace it with something material, but more often Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala replaces it with peace in your heart, with a love for Allah, with contentment with Allah's decree, with comfort with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's how Allah replaces things. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه يغفر لكم واسترشدوه يرشدكم واستهدوه يهدكم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسوله الكريم وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وبعد. اللهم صل وسلم على محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Brothers and sisters, this is one of the laws of Allah. that whoever leaves something for the sake of Allah, Allah replaces it with something much better. This law has been applied all throughout history. There's so many examples of it. If you take a look at ar-Rasool sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he lost most of his family in Mecca when he had to do the hijrah. But when he came to Medina, he was blessed with an entire city. Allah replaced it with something better. The Muhajirin, the people who migrated from Mecca to Medina, they left all their belongings. They sacrificed everything, their relatives, their friends, their belongings, their houses, everything they left. Like Suhaib al-Rumi, he is one of the richest people in Mecca. But he left all his belongings, houses, properties, real estate, everything behind. And when he got to Medina, he met ar-Rasool sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and ar-Rasool sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, "Rabih al-bay' ya Aba Yahya, Rabih al-bay' ya Aba Yahya." That what a great deal you made, oh Abu Yahya, that was his pet name. Kunya. Subhanallah. The Muhajirin, the people who migrated, they got the control of the entire world, the entire peninsula, for a few belongings, worldly things that they left behind. Brothers and sisters, in our lives today, we have similar opportunities to apply this law. And believe me, Allah will, as He promises, Allah will give you something better if you leave something for the sake of Allah. A lot of us these days are so attached to the worldly things that we never think of sacrifice. It's such an egocentric world, a selfish world that is I, me, and myself. Never about other people, let alone the ummah, let alone the community. Sometimes you'll get a job offer, and the job offer is really attractive. 6-figure salaries and more, and benefits, and they'll put you through school. All the things you can imagine, the health insurance for you and the family, and retirement benefits, and so on. But you can't pray Jummu'ah. But you can't make your salah. You can't wear the hijab. You can't have a beard. You have to compromise on your deen. Then there's another job. It pays a little bit less. The benefits are not the same, but you can practice your deen. You don't have to compromise on your deen. مَنْ تَرَكَ شَيْئًا لِلَّهِ عَوَّضَهُ اللَّهُ خَيْرًا مِنْهُ. And then you find out, you take the lesser paying job now, but the benefit that you get from it, you cannot replace, because Allah replaced it with something much better. In our marriages, often we get stuck, this person, he's a doctor. He has a great job. He's set in his profession. Or she's really beautiful and there's nobody like her. And we get stuck in those things and we forget about the deen. And ar-Rasool sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says, a woman is married for 4 reasons. And the last reason he mentioned about the money, the status, and her beauty and so on. But then he says, فَظْفَرْ بِذَاتِ الدِّينِ. Triumph with the one who has the deen. May you be successful. When it comes to our businesses, often we're tested. People want to sell haram things like lottery tickets, and like you go to some of these gas stations where you see Muslims own these gas stations and they're selling alcohol. Oh, brother, we have to do this in order to make money. Otherwise, there's no way to have a restaurant without selling alcohol. No restaurant succeeds without alcohol. مَنْ تَرَكَ شَيْئًا لِلَّهِ عَوَّضَهُ اللَّهُ خَيْرًا مِنْهُ. Whoever leaves something for the sake of Allah, Allah replaces it with something much better. Music. A lot of us, especially those of us who have grown up here in America, we're so attached to music. Believe me, brothers and sisters, you have to go cold turkey on it. If you do, leave it just in one shot, Allah will replace the delicacy of the Quran and listening to the Quran with it. We'll replace it with something much better. A lot of Muslims, they've begun to take drugs, especially at the university level, because they have to stay up, whether it's coffee or other drugs that keep you up so you can, and then they get addicted to them. Why not just depend on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Allah will help us pass those exams. When it comes to gossip, everybody does it. If you leave it for the sake of Allah, Allah will replace it. The peace that you get in your heart of obeying Allah, you cannot replace it. The iman that will build up, Allah will replace it with something much, much better. The money that you give for the sake of Allah, that you leave being riveted on money, and you give it for the sake of Allah. Allah says, وَمَا أَنفَقْتُم مِّن شَيْءٍ فَهُوَ يُخْلِفُهُ in the Quran. Whatever you spend in the way of Allah, Allah will replace it. Somebody calls you in the middle of the night and they need help, and you need to get out of the comfort of your bed and go and help this person. Do you do that, or you say, brother, I'll deal with you in the morning, just call 911. Why don't you just call emergency? You just lost an opportunity to gain some iman in your heart, some contentment from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You just lost that opportunity. If you leave your comfort, Allah will replace it with something much better. Brothers and sisters, I conclude with this one final thing. I'm bringing this up, why? Because, brothers and sisters, forgive me for saying this. But there doesn't seem to be a sense of urgency in us. We're going along life as if everything is okay, everything is all right, we're going to be fine, we're going to be okay. Can we wake up before it's too late? You saw what's happening in Palestine, in Gaza. It can happen here. It can happen here. It can happen here. It happened to the Africans who they brought as slaves. This is what happened to them. It happened to the Indians here. It happened to the Japanese. Internment camps and so on. Just yesterday, a bill was passed in the House of Representatives, that jeopardizes all non-profit organizations, especially Muslim organizations, that if they suspect you of supporting terrorism, they will cancel your non-profit status without any recourse. They can do it. There's no legal standing on this at all. They can do it if they at will. In Texas and Oklahoma, I don't know if you've heard, that if you go to the public schools, you have to, they're trying to institute this law that you have to study the Bible, whether you believe in Christianity or not, every day. These are things that are happening. But we're going along in life as if everything is fine. It's not fine. We have to think about leaving the comforts of our lives to stand up for justice, to stand up for Islam, to share the message of Islam with people actively, not passively, actively. Sure, it might take me a little bit longer. I may not get my entire sleep that I wanted, but that's the sacrifice. If you leave it for the sake of Allah, Allah will replace it with something much better. There has to be a sense of urgency, especially in our youth and our elders as well. Everybody has to be involved. Ayyub al-Ansari, the Sahabi, in whose house ar-Rasool stayed at when he came from Mecca to Medina. You know where he died? He died on the gates of Constantinople, Istanbul. You know what his age was? 100. 100 years old. And some of us are ready to retire at 50. SubhanAllah. Iman is what gets you there. The proper aqidah, the proper belief. Brothers and sisters, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala inspire all of us to feel that sense of urgency. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give all of us the passion to serve this deen. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put the love of Allah in our hearts to give whatever we can for this deen. Not just our wealth, but our time, our advice, our concern, our love for this deen. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب وأقم الصلاة